Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. We've talked with her in the last few weeks about how she helps support many people medically as a medical intuitive. She can detect what's going on with you just using her intuition. We're going to actually see it in action today. She's done it for me in the past. Very broadly, quickly, we're going to go deeper today. Dr. Gloria Warren is back with us. Welcome, Gloria. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
And I do want to say that this is not to substitute for medical advice or anything like that. This is something that you can use in connection with that if you so choose to get a better idea of what's going on in your body. Please introduce our guest today.
Well, this is Aria Norman. She's a very well-known energy healer and very well-known psychic. And I met her back in, I think, around 2005, 2006. And she actually contacted me this morning and asked me, can you do a mini read on me? You know, I need some help today. So I said, you're in luck. Yes. You fell from the sky. I haven't spoken to you in Lord knows how long. And she fell from the sky. And I'm like, perfect. She's used to being on the radio or wherever. And I just asked her for her permission. So Aria, do I have your permission to give your medical information online here today?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you in advance. You have my permission, and I don't feel good.
Feel good. So, okay. So I think, Steve, I mentioned before to the audience that I do 3 different areas. First, I'll do the symptoms, I'll do the causes, and then I'll do solutions. In this case, with Aria being a patient, I will do the observations, the root causes, and the solutions. So she sent me some photos today, and I'm not going to show the audience the photos because they are a little revealing, and I want to keep her sense of privacy here. So I will go through the photos here. And
can I interject here and I don't want to know what the photos are, but just so we have even more clarity in terms of what you do, are these photos of her body? Are these photos of certain things that she's dealing with within her body?
Well, she's not feeling well today, so she wasn't sure, and that's why she contacted me. I told her, send me photos of her face, both sides of her hands, her front of her body, her back of her body, and her feet.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm going to be looking at today, as well as the way when speaking with her to see if any other psychic things come through or messages of sorts as well.
I find this interesting. It's an intuitive versus an intuitive, not versus, but connecting with.
It's an extension.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. It kind of involves all sense of energies and energy healings and energy, different professions out there. So
before you begin, I'm looking down at her screen and I knew it. We just lost her. So, and this is not unlike anything I've experienced before. When you have, when I've done shows, podcasts, radio, people with intuitiveness or a certain type of energy,
yes,
the technical stuff goes wonky.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I remember once I had psychic Suzanne Northrup on the radio with us.
Yes.
And while she's doing a reading, her headphones, which were only like a year or two old, started disintegrating. Pieces started falling off like on the desk.
Okay.
I'm like,
I get it. They were interviewing me, the movie The Secret. They were making a sequel and they were interviewing me, and they had to stop the filming because my whole body, my nickname's Glow for a reason. My whole body was glowing so much that it was wiping out my image on the screen, and they could not. What are you going to do with that if you're in TV? What do you do with that? So they tried to finish the interview, And well, anyways, that's tied up in funds, by the way. But either way,
Hmm.
a very interesting though scenario.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not surprised. She just came back.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for her to get her camera on and going. And um, I want her here so she can validate what we're talking about. And that she's back.
And she
Welcome
brought the
back.
daisies. Yay. All that sunshine. Yeah.
And
Thank you. That's my phone back. That's not my, anyway.
gotcha. Okay. All right. Back to where we were.
Okay. You just simply said you didn't feel good. So I'm going to start the reading and I'm going to tell you the observations as I look through your photos. This I did when you sent them, I was like, aha, yes, I need to talk to her. So as I go through the photos, oh yeah, I forgot to let me mark something. Okay, so I noticed 4 major categories that are outside the realm of norm and pretty necessary to review. Some things you need to know about. And first, I'm going to say skeletal. I'm seeing arthritis. I'm seeing in your finger joints and different joints in your body. But I don't think this is a surprise to you. I think you get knee pain. You have problems with that. Back lumbar spine is not only you have scoliosis where it leans to the right, and the discs are disintegrating. You're getting some osteoporosis. I would say 20%. No, it's more than that. It's more like 35% osteoporosis in your lower lumbar spine in your vertebrae. Okay. I'm also noticing here, let me go to the other photo and see if I can look at that again. I'm going to look at your knees. Okay. Yeah. Let's go down to the ankles. I remembered it back in 2006 when you had me look at your ankle and the swelling. That's fine. I mean, it's still there. You're still dealing with that. But I'm noticing your ankle joints are too close together. They're getting where they're going to be running, being bone on bone. So we definitely want to give you a solution there for that. So bone, joints, and joints. And then I'm looking at next your lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes, by the way, in various areas, you have the lymph nodes under your arms directly. I mean, like underarms in here, they're all swollen. But both arms, but it's low level circulation. I'm seeing that there's pressure under there. We'll have to talk more about that. Let me move on. I don't want to spend all the time on that. I'm looking in the groin area, lymph nodes are swollen. I'm looking the femoral arteries. If I switch over to the vascular system, the arteries coming in your femoral area and your groin area, they're narrowing. And I'm seeing, I pull on the intuitive side to get the percentages. So give me 1 second. So right femoral artery occlusion, 60%. Left femoral artery occlusion, 40%.
May I ask what an occlusion is? I don't know
I'm
what
sorry,
that
that's blockage.
Oh, okay.
Blockage. It can be from calcification, calcium carbonates and things of that nature. They're hard as a rock. Or it could be just from fat or cholesterol deposits building up there. Those are easily gotten rid of, but we'll have to talk about solutions for that. Vascular. Okay. And then the gastrointestinal is what's really concerning me the most today. I'm noticing quite a bit of bloating and hardening as it may feel to you. If you press on your abdomen below, just at your stomach and below, maybe it goes off to the left or goes off to the right. I think with you, it goes off to the left, but that is allergy driven. What particularly, we're getting more and more patients with this because they started putting glycol in our food. And glycol is a polyethylene glycol for the most part, and it is highly carcinogenic, and it's very many people, most people are allergic. If I put it on a grade 1 to 10, you're about allergic to it about a 7 to 9. depending on the day of the week. Most people are allergic, probably 5 to 7, but they don't realize it. They just think, oh, I'm a little gassy or just bloated. I don't know why I'm swollen up, but I'll be fine. And they think of it, oh, it's just age. It's just hormone. No, it isn't. That is a glycol situation. I'm looking at your colon, the left side ascending. That is swollen up. The tissue itself is swollen. Low level circulation in that area. Little mixed type of scenario you're dealing with there. At the base, you're dealing where it passes the appendix, where it starts to go up. It is kind of kinked a little bit, and I think it's giving you a hard time for the stool to pass through. And then I look at the right colon side. It comes down your right side and around, and that there is the right upper loop of that just before it drops down your side. That has got the same swollen type scenario, but it's not as kinked. I'm seeing some diverticulitis in there, large intestine, some diverticulitis. I am noticing that also in your small intestines. Something with the inner surface, I don't like, and it's almost like you have that leaky gut syndrome thing going on. We'll talk about that too. Let me put GI. And then,
I've often wondered if I have that.
pardon me?
I have often considered that I have that.
Yeah, mostly in your small intestines.
Okay.
So, you can do something to change that and heal those little, like, cracks, heal them back to where they should be, but we'll discuss that in a second. So, I thought those were your blood. That's the last thing I'm going to mention today, because this is a short session. Usually it's an hour and a half. I noticed that I think your red count is too low and your hemoglobin is too low. So I wanted to ask you if you are a vegetarian. No. Okay. I think you need to eat a little more red meat to get that heme iron back in you, and make sure you get enough folic acid in your diet.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
I love red.
Yeah. Now, I haven't done the root causes, but I tried to target a little bit of the root causes. If you lose a little weight, your lumbar spine would feel better, but we got to talk more of solutions on different things. I'm going to stop there for a second, and I'm going to ask you what you think about the things that I've identified.
I was ignoring my back. I've always ignored pain. I have fibromyalgia, so I trained myself to ignore pain unless it grabs me really strong. So thank you for bringing that knowledge to me. I had no idea. And you're right, it does hurt back there, but like I said, it's my personal training of my lifestyle to ignore that. And also, the ankles, that's really interesting. It really could be the answer to some things I've been experiencing. The knees, I get it. I've actually had an appointment twice to go see someone about my knees, and I have to say I was a little nervous. So after talking to you, I probably will make another appointment and keep it for my knees. And last but not least, the upper right thing that you said wasn't kinked. That's where the pain has been that I was going to ask you about. And it's not and a moment ago I said I ignore pain, right? This is more like a grab, and then it lets go.
I think I may have misspoken. The upper left loop, not the right. Your intestines go up real high and they loop over and down on your left side. I wrote a picture and it comes up backwards to me on the photo, but yes. I'll
Is that my left or your left? I don't know.
Your left is the upper loop left.
Okay.
Descending. And then your ascending colon on the right side is in the lower part, is where I'm seeing that kink. It's not completely closed off. It's like around the appendix area, just past the appendix. It seems to not be making that curve easily enough. So it's a concern. I'm documenting all this for you, by the way, so you have it by pictures, okay?
Thank you very much. So, I'm intuitive professionally, right? And I was wondering several times, was it my appendix? I kept getting a no. Just to make sure, I went to Dr. Google, looked it up. I was like, no, that's not the appendix, thank God. And that's the feeling I got was that something wasn't moving right. And what you're describing sounds exactly like a like the process that I'm experiencing that also
The
causes
flow.
pain. Yeah,
The flow is being
Right.
hindered. So your
Yeah.
energy is getting trapped there and it's starting to swell because after all, if it gets trapped there, bacteria starts to build and it gets the tissue to swell. So
I
yeah,
did
that's
also notice a slight swelling there, and that's what made me want to call you. And of course, I'm going to my medical regular MD as well.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you would like, I'll do a quick solution for you on various things. And one, any arthritis area, whether it be your knee, your back, you can always add red light laser, 650 to 665 nm. And that there will eradicate all bacteria through its ray. Okay. Do not have it near your eyes ever, or anybody else's in the room. Could be your dog or cat, or make sure that it's not going to shine on them at any point. Okay. And I'll put down here 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes per area. And then I'm looking at your lumbar spine. You really need some good stretches. And the best stretch for a lumbar spine is, it's really simple. Before you get out of bed, you lay on your left side first or your right. It's up to you, choose. You lay on, let's say if you lay on your left first, you have your knees up and you're laying on your left side. You keep your left side torso facing that way. You take your knees, you pick them up, and you try to twist them the other way, but you do it slowly. And then you switch and you do it the other way. When you do that, you breathe in and out, you relax in it. Each time you twist one way, it should take you a full minute to twist and relax and feel that stretch, okay, and that twist. And the other thing is you could try pushing your hips downward while you're laying down and to stretch out your vertebrae so they come apart a little bit before you stretch. That would be a great idea. And then when you get up out of the bed, do it slowly. Roll out, don't just, hey, jump up, because what's going to happen is just going to muscle memory back in place, and you don't want that.
Okay.
Also, because the 35% osteoporosis I'm seeing, it's a concern of mine. So I want to just to mention to you, please make sure you get enough calcium, no calcium carbonate.
Okay. I don't,
A lot of vitamins have calcium carbonate as choice, but that's what gets trapped in your arteries.
I will review all my vitamin bottles.
Hey, okay. All right, then I'm looking, that goes for the fibromyalgia too. You want to go ahead and use that red light laser where you need, okay?
Okay.
I'm looking at your lymph nodes. There's swollen lymph nodes under the arms and in your groin area. You need to do a little survey of yourself and just do a little press and feel going like this. Feel how big those lymph nodes are. Find them. They're like little tiny marbles. But if they're bigger than the regular size marble, you need to put some laser on there to clear it out. There could be some trapped blood in there or some trapped bacteria or even a virus. So you want to kill everything that's going through there so it gets a fresh start.
I've been using one of those vibration plates.
That's good.
Is that a good thing?
It is good, but it's not going to get rid of the bacteria or virus or whatever is making it swell.
Okay, great. Okay.
I do think in your groin area, some of that problem is due to pressure. So pressure of the way your body is formed in that area. And that's just to consider maybe a weight loss program or something. However, a lot of your weight is more of fluid retention because of the lymph node problem. So you're in a little loop there. So you want to get rid of some of that fluid in there and get rid of the bacteria or anything else that may be causing that swelling. And then you can maybe do some acupressure in that area to get the blood flowing better and try and clear it out and see if you can get some of that fluid down in those areas. Those lymph nodes go up into your belly, just underneath your belly as well. They go up like almost as high as your hips. They're not just at the groin area. Okay.
Thank you.
What else do we have here? Skeletal, bones, gastrointestinal. Okay, save the best for last. You know, I'm sure you have ideas of what things you may be allergic to, but what I would have to say is I would go on a bland diet for a few days, maybe with some black seed oil.
Okay.
Let me mark this down for you.
I don't know what black seed oil is.
You can buy it online, very inexpensive. You go to a place like Pippin Rock, it's real cheap, but it's good. And they have it in the liquid capsules, so you don't need to taste it. I mean, I buy it by the gallon jug, but hey, you know, if you like the taste of like kerosene or turpentine, great, good for you. But most
My
people won't.
favorite.
Yeah, the old
By the way-
lumberjack method.
I buy their products. They're actually located around the corner from me, and I never knew. I bought it online. I'm like, wait a minute, they're here. Great products. Not endorsing,
Yeah.
just sharing.
No,
and,
great
and
product.
you know, Gloria, they're like you said, they're very, very affordable, priced very well.
Yes, and their quality of product. There were some little controversies, I think, like 7 years ago. Let me tell you right now, their quality of product is very good. And I send all my patients there because they, I don't want to see them have to spend $300 for a few items when they can get it for like $20.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, so I usually send them a link. I can forward you the link, or you can find it online. I'll put Pipping Rock on your sheet because I'll be sending you a copy.
So we got about a minute or so left.
I think we can stop there. I think we could stop there. And Aria, please feel free to call me. I'll give you further information if you need. You can ask more questions as well. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank
So
you very much.
before you go, Aria, so question. It seems that this just confirms some of your suspicion. And then for some of the other things, it seems like now you've got something to bring to a doctor, like much like a running head start as a starting point. Does that sound pretty much what's on your mind?
100% correct. It is, yeah, it's how I believe it should be done. That's my preference.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You have such limited time with our medical professionals today as it is. So instead of them starting from scratch, now they have a target, you know, based on, and honestly, sometimes you might not feel, anybody might feel a little uncomfortable. Well, I went to a medical intuitive doctor and here's what they said. You just say, yeah, I talked to somebody who's a medical professional. Gloria is, and this is what they shared with me. I'd like you to look into it. And you can leave it just at that. But well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you,
my
Aria.
pleasure. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Steve. Bye.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Wow, so cool. How do we find you, Gloria? How do we get in touch with you?
Well, text is always best for me because I'm a very busy person like most. So you can text me at 715-892-6304. Once again, 715-892-6304. Or you can also look at my website, medicalintuitivegloria.com, and you can get more information about me there.
Glad we did this today. When you did this for me, it was just on the fly. You didn't even have any prep. We just, that was it. You just jumped in. You were spot on. This gave such a level of detail. I think for all of us, it's like, oh, that's how that works. Wow. And you could keep going. We ran out of time.
Right. Well, I did not do most of the intuitive part because she is an intuitive, and I know that Aria is very well known intuitive. So she is very in touch, and what I've seen from her with what she's done with patients that have come to me was amazing. So, but I can do the intuitive. I can see the spirits around them, giving them messages and things like that. So sometimes I intertwine that into the session, but normally a session is about an hour and a half long. This was a mini session.
Yeah. And cool at that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Learned a lot about the process, and we'll catch up next time.
Sounds
Appreciate it.
good. Thanks.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.